Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial I will be explaining in detail how to make a senator top pattern. So I'm going to use a pattern paper to demonstrate this. So first we talk about the 6 measurements that you need to draft your pattern. You will need the length of the top plus 2 inches hem allowance. Okay, and then you're going to need your shoulder measurement. You're going to divide that by 2 plus half an inch as seam allowance. Then the chest measurement, divide by 4 plus 1.5 inch as seam allowance. You need the neck measurement to divide by 6 plus 0.3 seam allowance. Then the sleeve length and also the sleeve round. So now you're going to get your pattern paper, fold it into two. On the edge of the pattern paper, draw your guideline. You draw your guideline like that. Then from that guideline, you measure your shoulder divided by 2 plus the half-inch seam allowance to join the shoulders. From the center front on the shoulder line, you measure down the chest line, which is usually 9 inches standard. So after you measure that out, you're going to draw out the line. And now from the end of the shoulder, you also extend the line up from the chest line. Then from the center front again on the shoulder line, you will get the length of the top plus the 2 inches hem allowance. So this is the length. I'm working with the length of 26 and then 2 inches hem allowance, making it at 29. And that's what I marked out there. Now, from the shoulder line, you're going to come down by 1.5 inches slant to slant the shoulder. Then from there, you will take it all the way to the center fold where the shoulder line begins, as I marked here. And then from there, you're going to get your neckline measurement. I'm using 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. You mark it as the length as that's the depth. Then you use your French curve and create your neckline curve. Now, the remaining on your shoulder line, the remaining measurements, you're going to divide that into two. You fold your tape into two like I just did, and then you get the midpoint. From that midpoint, you're going to go in by 1.5 inches. This is so you will not have that shoulder bulge after joining the top together. So after that, on the chest line, measure your chest divided by 4 inches plus the 1.5 inch seam allowance, and then you mark it right there. Okay, so now you're going to take your French curve, and then you connect the points like I'm showing you right here, just like that. Okay, now to make a slit, the male senator top, you usually have a slit. So from your chest line is at 13 inches from your chest line. So you're going to come from the end of the chest line and then you mark the 13 inches and you draw out that line. So this is where your slit will be. All right, so I'm just going into label the lines. Okay, so the 13 inches that you made, you just extend the line from the chest line. So this will be where the slant will begin. And then basically the front top is ready to be cut out. I'm just going to label that as my front. Then I'm going to cut it out now. So when you're cutting out, to make sure you cut it perfectly with no jagged edges, you just use a good scissors and cut them out. And take notes on how I am cutting on the slit line. So once you get to the end of the 13-inch mark, then you turn just like I did here, and then continue your cutting straight. And that's it. And that's the front cenote top pattern piece. As you can see, it's very easy to do once you follow all the guidelines. So this is how the front looks like. So now we're ready to cut the back. To cut the back, you just place the front. You place the front on another pattern paper. Then you draw a guideline at the beginning, and from there you will mark out 2 inches from the end of the neckline. Mark out 2 inches because the back piece is always 2 inches or 3 inches longer than the front. And also from the end of the shoulder line, you mark out the same 2 inches going up, and then you connect the lines in a slant manner, just like I'm showing you here. So this is a 2-inch extension. Okay, so now from there, you just cut out the excess pattern paper out, like that. So to get the neckline for the back, you can either fold the 2 inches extension that you make it to fold it so that the neckline will meet, and then you can use your marker and connect it to make sure that it aligns properly, just like I'm showing you here. So I just made like a slit for the guide, and then you're going to open it up, and the back neckline is going to be 1.5 inch. You can use 1 inch if you want. So you're going to place that measurement. So I make sure I mark my 1.5 inch for the back, for the back neckline. Okay, so now you're going to cut that out. And then you're going to cut the rest of the pattern following the armhole, the front armhole, and then you cut exact measurements for the rest of the pattern, just like I'm showing you here. So this is it. After you cut it, you make sure that the necklines that they match, and also the shoulder lines that they match together. So now our pattern is ready. So you're going to open them up, and then you label your back and then label the front as well. So I'm just going to place them together so to make sure that the neckline and the shoulders match. As you can see, the extension that we made for the back, it will be folded towards the front to overlap by the shoulder, by the front shoulder, just like this. This is how you join it. And as you can see, the necklines they match and the shoulder lines they also match. So this is how you'll be sewing them. And then when you sew the side as well, you will start by the slit where we made the slit. So before you start cutting it on your fabric, you can make notches to know where each line ends. Okay, so that's how you cut the senator top. I hope it's clear now. Okay, now another thing I'm going to show you, like let's say you want to put a facing for the back. If you want to, you can pipe the back or you can put a facing. All you have to do is get like another pattern paper or your fabric, and then you place it on fold and trace the outlines from the neckline to the shoulder and then down to the armhole area, just like I'm showing you here. You trace all the way around and then down to the side seam. But for the side seam, you will stop like about 5 inches or less, depending on you. So if you want to create a design, you can use more than 5 inches in order to create whatever design that you want. So for me, I'm using 5 inches. And then when you take it out, you look like this. You're just going to use your ruler, extend the rest of the line to the center um, fold like that. So with this now you can create any design that you want for the back yoke to be. So this is the yoke. So I'm just going to make a slant line so that it can give like a V-shaped design in the back. So you can do it this way. You can do it in a curved manner. Any design that you want, you can do it at this point. So I'm just going to cut the yoke out. Okay, so now after you cut it out, as you can see the V shaped that I was going for. In order to join this, you're going to place the wrong side facing each other so that after you sew it and turn it over, the right side will be facing the right side of the main bodice. And then you will top stitch where the V neckline is by 1/2 inch. So this is how you create your yoke for your senator top. Now for the sleeve, you get another pattern paper and then you're going to draw your guideline. from there you measure the length of your sleeve. It can be short sleeve, it can be long sleeve, but I'm working with a short sleeve. So the length I'm working with is 8 inches, but I'm adding 2 inches for the hem allowance. So after you determine your length and the hem allowance, you're going to use your ruler and extend the lines. So that's my hem allowance, and then that's the length. Now from there, I will mark down my cap sleeve, which is a 4.5 inches, and then I extend the line. And then on that 4.5 inches mark, you're going to add the armhole um, round. So you can get this by measuring back the your main bodice to in order to get the accurate armhole round. And after that, the length of the sleeve, you're going to add the armhole round um, divide by 2 plus half an inch as seam allowance. Then you're going to connect it like I'm showing you here. And so that's after adding that, all you do is now create your armhole curve like I'm showing you here. And then your sleeve is basically ready to be cut. So before you cut that, you fold the hemline like that, like I'm showing you here, before you start to cut it out. Okay, and now we're going to cut the sleeve out. And you trim the rest of the pattern out. So basically the sleeve is ready, and that's how you cut your stenoted top, the sleeve, and also the yoke. And please, if this tutorial has been helpful to you, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you on my next video. Bye bye.